Many will know that these were years of instability, violence, and war. This was the time of the Huns, whose realm came to loom over the Roman empires of East and West like a dark cloud, ever ready to unleash its mounted hordes into the heart of the Imperium and obliterating the very framework of civilization. It appeared that Hunnic presence was established with an unshakable permanence. But in 451, Attila had seen his first defeat at the hands of General Aetius in the Battle of the Catalonian Plains, which I covered extensively in a separate video. A link to that will be in the description. A year later, in 452, Attila invaded Italy. Catching Aetius and the weak Emperor Valentinian III by surprise, he came within a hair's breadth of capturing Rome. But the two massive campaigns had depleted Attila's forces and put him on a war footing against the West. He could no longer count on bribes, tributes, and subsidies that were a vital source of funds. But a plague in Italy caused a massive famine, depriving the Huns of the plunder they expected to collect, and offering insufficient food reserves they could carry off to use over the winter months. Attila had no choice but to accept a nominal bribe from the Western Empire to retreat, his army suffering terribly to attrition. Meanwhile, a new emperor ascended the throne in Constantinople 2 years earlier. Marcian, the tall and unusually warlike emperor of the East, had forsworn the annual tribute to Attila during his rampage through Gaul and Italy in 451 and 452, further depriving the Hunnic leader of invaluable subsidies needed to maintain the massive tribal war machine. Not only that, Marcian had taken the war to the Huns. In mid-452, he led an army into the Pannonian Plain. Despite the threat of punitive raids, the Eastern Roman Emperor ventured into the plains, where he defeated a Hunnic army. Marcian then struck Attila where it hurts the most. He devastated the lands of the Ostrogoths, the breadbasket of the Hunnic domain. The loss of food supplies would have put more pressure on Attila, whose expedition into Italy had already fell short of expectations. Marcian proceeded into the lands of the Gepids, who, alongside the Ostrogoths, were most opposed to Hunnic rule. The Roman Emperor understood that the ravaging of the lands of the Germanic tribes would undermine Attila's authority. Crops were burned, food stores plundered, villages and strongholds razed. Marcian's campaign of 452 was a vintage Roman maneuver, reminiscent of Tiberius and Germanicus' drive into Germania in the wake of the disaster at Teutoburg, to destroy and despoil the home soil of the enemy and retreat before they could be pinned down. News of Marcian's incursion must have been a shock to Attila. But more importantly, it reminded the tribes along the Danube of the power of Rome. Finally, Marcian recrossed the Danube in early autumn. By November 452, Attila had returned and was marching to his winter quarters somewhere on the Pannonian Plain. He dispatched messages to Constantinople, threatening with invasion and conquest of the Eastern Empire the following spring, unless outstanding tribute was paid. But Marcian ignored the threats, reasoning that Roman gold would be better spent training and arming the legions. As early as January 453, Attila's preparations for a large-scale invasion began.